time when you see a negative here, it means every sign in the parentheses is affected by the negative. Okay, so this is the same as 3x minus 4y, then minus, this is positive, right? So it will be minus 4x, then this is minus, then there is another minus, right? So this is positive. A negative number multiplied by a negative number is positive. So that is a simple trick. Okay. Then from here we can just group like terms, right? Let us go ahead and group like terms. So we have 3x, I bring minus here, minus 4x, then I write minus 4y, then write plus 3y. Okay, so what I just did here, I just group like terms, the terms that have x together and the terms that have y together. Okay, so 3x minus 4x, it just means subtracting the coefficients, right? 3 minus 4 is negative 1, but we just write x. Okay, so 3 minus 4 is negative 1, so this is just x. Then negative 4 plus 3, it's just same as 3 minus 4, which is also negative. So this is negative y, negative x minus y. The key thing here is the minus, right? Everything is simple. I mean, everybody knows that 5a minus 3a is just 2a, right? But the trick is the negative. So I want to emphasize on the negative. So the first part, it remains the same, 5a plus 2b, okay? Then minus 3a. Now, minus, right? Negative, negative is positive number. So that is positive 6b, okay? So the trick here was this positive here, because if you forgot to multiply negative 1 here, multiplied by this negative 6, you just write a negative here, then everything becomes wrong. 5a minus 3a is 2, right? That is 2a. Then 2b plus 6b, right? This is just 8, so that is 8b, okay? Because these things are different, because the denominators are different, the common denominator is just the product of the two, okay? So like I'm just say LCD, the lowest common denominator of x and x plus 2 is just x multiplied by x plus 2. Now that we have the common denominator here, we can just do what? We can just write each fraction as, as an equivalent fraction with this common denominator. Okay, now look at the first one. If I give you 3 over x, right, I want to write it to have a denominator of x plus 2. Okay, so what I can do, I can just multiply the numerator by x plus 2. What I do in the numerator, I do the same in the denominator, right? X plus 2. Okay, so what I just did here, I just multiplied 3 over x by 1, right? I just multiplied by 1 because x plus 2 and x plus 2 cancel, so that is just 1. Then I can do the same here. This is x over x plus 2, but I want the denominators to be the same, so I can just multiply the second expression by x. So I multiply the numerator by x and the denominator by x. Okay, so you can see that the denominators right now they are the same. Okay, but we know that when the denominators are the same, what do we do to the numerators? We just add, right? We just add the numerators. So what we can do, we can just write this as, so this is just 3 into x plus 2, then plus x multiplied by x is just x squared, then over, in the denominator you don't expand, right? Just write x, then x plus 2. Okay, so that is the common denominator. Now the last step now is just to expand, right? So let me just go ahead and expand. So if I want, I can write with I can start with a constant term, right? Or if I want, I can start with x squared. So let's say I start with x squared, then plus, let me multiply 3 by x, so that is 3x, right? Then 3 multiplied by 2 is 6, right? Then everybody over x divided by x plus 2. Everybody divided by x plus 2. So given 3 over x plus over x plus 2, we'll find the common denominator, which is x into x plus 2, right? Then the next step, I write an equivalent fraction of 3 over x with the denominator x plus 2. So that is why I have x plus 2 in the numerator and x plus 2 in the denominator. Then I just add everything together and end up with this. Okay, so this should be your final answer. Remember, this one has a denominator x and the next one has a common denominator x plus 1. So the common denominator is the product of the two, right? So just the common denominator is x multiplied by x plus 1. So I just write 2 over x as an equivalent fraction to 1 with the denominator x multiplied by x plus 1. Okay, so I write 2 over x, then I multiply the numerator by x plus 1. I do the same with the denominator x plus 1. I've not changed anything, I've just written an equivalent fraction. Then let us do the same and write this. So this is 5 over x plus 1. Okay, but we need the denominator to have x in it, so I multiply the numerator by x and the denominator by x. This should be in parentheses. Okay, so we are getting somewhere. Next, what we can do, we can just expand the denominator, right? In the numerator, I mean. So in the denominator, we have x into x plus 1. Then here we can just expand 2 multiplied by x, right? Which is just 2x. Then plus 2 multiplied by 1, that is 2. Then plus 5 multiplied by x is 5x. Okay? So slow and steady. Slow and steady. Now, let's do one more thing, right? We can add 2x and 5x. 2x and 5x, which is just what? 7x. Good. And we have a 2 here. Okay? Don't forget the denominator x over x plus 1. So once again, given 2 over x plus 5 over x plus 1, the simplified form of these, the sum of these two expressions is 7x plus 2 over x plus 1. So we're going to solve this system of equation where 4x plus 3y is equal to 8 and 4x minus 3y is equal to negative 16. So the question is, what does it mean, to solve a system of equation? It means you are looking for the value of x and y which satisfy both equations, right? If I put x in the first equation and y, I should find 8. If I use the same values I put on x and y in the second equation, I should find negative 16. Okay, so you can observe that this is a perfect elimination problem, right? Why? Because we can notice that we have the positive 3y and the negative 3y. So that means the y terms can cancel each other, right? So let us cancel out. When you add these two equations, right, you realize that 3x means 3y and 3y cancels, right? 3y and 3y cancels. Here we have 4 plus 4 is 8, so this is just our 8x. Then this is equal to, so 4 plus negative 16, right? 4 plus negative 16, that is just negative 8. Okay, so we are getting somewhere. That is negative 8. Now we can go ahead and divide throughout by what? We can divide throughout by 8. So divide by 8 and divide by 8. So 8 and 8 on the left cancels. So we remain with x is equal to negative 1. Okay? So for this particular system, x is negative 1. X is negative 1. So this becomes easier. We can find the value of y here. So I can use the first equation. So 4x plus 3y, let's say, is equal to 8. All right, so once again, on this kind of equation, we can also use elimination method, right? What it means, elimination method, is that, you can see that y is positive and y is negative. So when you add the two here, you just get 0, okay? So we can add these two systems, right? So when we do the addition, 2x plus 2x is 4x, then y and y gives us a 0, okay? So this is just plus 0. We don't necessarily have to write it, okay? Then we can add the remaining, right? So 11 plus 5 just gives us, just gives us 16. Since this guy is 0, we can just remove it here, right? I just erase that, that is 0. So we can go ahead and divide throughout by 4. I divide throughout by 4, so that the 4 and 4 cancels. This is x is equal to 16 divided by 4 is just 4. Okay, so for this problem, x is 4. Okay, so normally these kind of problems, they don't necessarily give you to solve like the full system, right? Because this is a timed exam, so they'll just give you, how to say, find the value of x, because it is easy to eliminate x. So this is a quadratic equation problem. Let's say we have 4x squared minus x minus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so what we can do, we can try to factor something, right? So what you observe here is that 4x squared can be written as 4x multiplied by x, right? Multiplied by x. Okay, 4x can be written as 4x squared is 4x multiplied by x. Then you can observe here that 5 can be written as what? We can just write 5, something like -5 plus multiplied by 1, right? So I have two numbers. I write 4x multiplied by x and -5 multiplied by that. Okay, so what we can do, we can just write these like that. This is equal to 0. Okay, so I put 4x in here and I put x in the other one. Okay, then we have 5, -5 here, and +1. That's it, right? So it ends there, right? Don't have anything to do. So all right, so what that means now is that for x minus 5 is equal to 0, then we can solve this equation, right? So this means 4x is 5. Okay, 4x is 5. I just added 5 both sides. Then we can divide throughout by 4, so that x is equal to 5/4. Okay, that was the first one. All right, in the second one, we have x plus 1 is equal to 0. So this should be simple. X is -1, right? X is -1. So this is equal to 0, right? So remember, this is x squared, right? So I write one x here and another x here. Okay, but look at this. When you look at 6, right? 6 is the same as 2 multiplied by 3, and 5 in the middle is the same as 2 plus 3, right? So we have two numbers whose sum is 5, 2 and 3, and the product is 6, and all of them, they are positive. So I just write +2 here, +3. Okay, I write +2 +3. So we have already factored out x plus 2, x plus 3. Then we can just go ahead and equate this to 0, right? The product of two things is 0 if one of them is 0, right? Or either one of them is 0. So we can write this as x plus 2 is equal to 0. And this just implies that x is -2, right? X is -2. In the same way, x plus 3 is equal to 0 implies that x is what? -3. Okay, so that is a very simple system of simple quadratic equation. So let us see if we can move ahead to slope of an equation. Let's say I give you 3x plus 4y is equal to 8. So what is the slope of this equation? What is the slope of this equation? All right, so for this kind of equation, remember, so people will say, okay, we're just looking at the coefficient of x, right? But here, if we just take the coefficient of x, that will be wrong. Okay, why? Because this equation is not in its slope intercept form, right? Or in its intercept form. So what we can do, we can rewrite this. I mean, we can note that when we write an equation in its intercept form, that is y is mx plus c, right? We can just extract our m here, which is the slope. Okay, so the first idea is to write this problem in this form. Okay, is to write the problem in that form. So what can we do to write it in this form? So what we can do, we can subtract 3x from both sides. So this becomes 4y is equal to 8 minus 3x. Okay, 8 minus 3x. Then we want y, so we divide throughout by 4 by 4. Okay, so 4 and 4 on the left cancels. We remain with y is equal to, that is 8 divided by 4 is 2, then minus 3 over 4x. Okay, now that our equation is in its intercept form, we can just extract our slope, right? So therefore, our slope here, m, is negative 3 over 4. Negative 3 over 4. Okay, so once again, just to recap, when the equation is in this form, right? 3 is not the slope. The coefficient of x is not the slope. Why? Because the equation is not in slope form, right? So in intercept form. So what we do, we rewrite this equation into this equation, right? We write it in the form of y is mx plus c, right? So what we did, we just we just subtracted 3x from both sides, so that we have 4y is 8 minus 3x. Then we divide it throughout by 4, so that we have this expression. Therefore, our slope is negative 3 over 4. Our slope is negative 3 over 4. Okay, so in the same way, I can give you another one. Let's see. So remember, slope form, just right here, y is mx plus c, right? That is the slope. So let's say you have 2x minus 5y is equal to 10. What is the slope in this case? Okay, what is the slope in this case? What is the slope in this case? So again, remember, the slope here, just a caution, right? The common mistake is that students normally will just get the coefficient of x here and say that is the slope. Okay, but that is not true, because this equation and the intercept form of an equation, they are not the same, right? So what we can do, we can subtract 2x from both sides. So this is just negative 5y is equal to 10 minus 2x. Okay, minus 2x. Then we have y, we can divide throughout by negative 5. So this is negative 5, and negative 5. Okay, so that is a very important step. So negative 5 and negative 5 cancels. We have y is 5, 10 divided by 5 is 2, right? But that is negative. You have a negative and negative, right? So this becomes positive 2 over 5x. Okay, positive 2 over 5x. Okay, so because the coefficient now is what? Is that. Okay, so our slope here, which we normally denote by m, is 2 over 5. Okay, 2 over 5. So thanks guys for joining. Please remember to like and share this live stream so that others can can also benefit. All right, so that is about the slope, right? So let's erase this. So a typical question would be, what is the equation of a line that has a slope of negative 7 and passes through the point 4, 8? What is the equation of a line that has a slope negative 7 and passes through the point 4, 8? Okay, So what we can do, remember this, we said the intercept form, right? Y is equal to mx plus b. You can either use that formula, okay? You can either use this equation, right? Y is equal to mx plus b, because you already have your slope, which is -7. Then this is x and this is y. You can find b from that. Okay. So let us go ahead and write this. So here our x is 4 and y is 8. That is our m. Okay. That is the slope. Okay. Now that we know what is happening here, we can just plug in, right? So y is 8, the slope is -7, and x is 4. This is plus, right? Plus b. So we just look for the value of b. Okay? So this is just 8 is equal to -28 plus b. Okay? Then you can just, let me just say plus 28 here. Okay, so 28 and 28 cancels. So therefore, B is just 36, right? B is just 36. Okay. So because we know that, then we can just conclude here to say, okay, our y will be equal to, the slope is -7, right? X, then B is 36. So 36 just remains like that. Okay. So that's the end, right? If you want to write it maybe in standard form, that would just be say 7x plus y is 36. Okay, 7x plus y is 36. All right, so that is 40 minutes. So what we just did here, we solved algebra by using a few rules, right? So what we said, number one, is that a minus sign before brackets changes every sign inside the parentheses, right? Every sign, a minus sign before parentheses changes every sign in the parentheses. Then rational expressions need a common denominator, right? We found the common denominator, okay? Then in systems, we said opposite terms cancel when we add. Opposite terms cancel when we add, okay? Then for quadratics, we said factoring gives the solution. So most of the time, just use factorization. Then to find the slope, you solve for y, right? Solve for y and take the coefficient of x. Then that's it, right? So that is what we have done so far.